Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Please consider subscribing to my channel. And today I wanted to talk to you about nice and warm and cozy fragrances. And it's not just for autumn, because when we talk about nice and cozy fragrances, we automatically think about autumn or then winter, Christmas times. And maybe the fragrances that we think of are spicy and boozy a little bit, but these are the fragrances that evoke this feeling of warmness, of coziness, but they're not necessarily spicy or boozy fragrances. There are some spices in them, sometimes there's the booziness. I will be going through the notes, but overall it's not just about the booziness and the spiciness. So and also on behind me there's the advent calendar for this year, for 2024, and this is the advent calendar of Lancome, and I will be unboxing it on Friday. I usually reserve Fridays for unboxing of advent calendars if I have some advent calendars, and I'm still thinking about getting myself one advent calendar by Yves Rocher. It's kind of difficult to get it because of the distribution. I mean, if I will be able to get it, then I will be unboxing it. And anyway, let's start. Before I put these fragrances on my list, I had to make sure that all these fragrances are available for purchase, and all of them are, depending on where you live, you can find them at a pretty good price, and some of them are available online only at this time. But overall, these fragrances are not limited editions and they do not cost a fortune. So anyway, let's start with a one and only, and this, I love this fragrance, and they have just recently launched the Absolute version, which is different from this one. But this one, oh my gosh, this is a gem. This is L'Interdit Givenchy, and this is the intense version, and this is the older one that came out probably a couple of years back, maybe 3 years back. So it has black pepper, it has white flowers, and has sesame seeds, and also vanilla, patchouli, and vetiver. And vetiver has this interesting effect on me, especially if it's a very dry and a very warm vetiver. It creates the coziness without actually understanding what causes this coziness. I mean, it kind of it feels like it's a dry hay, like dry grass, and very nice and very beautiful, and it's such a warm fragrance. And again, it's just the black pepper as a spice here, so it's not all that spicy, and it's quite fresh with these white flowers, because white flowers are not warm, usually they're not warm. But this patchouli, this vetiver, and this very sweet, not cloying, but sweet and warm vanilla, it just develops in a way that you really want this fragrance around you, especially if it's like a chilly weather, or maybe you are just cold. You just put a couple of sprays of this fragrance and you are good to go. So I really do love this. I also like the new fragrance that they have just launched, the Absolute one, and I'm aiming to buy the fragrance. And for some reason, I don't know, you tell me, I do not love 50 ml and 80 ml fragrance bottles. I mean, this one is very cute, it's very nice, but the 50 and especially 80, they're so bulky, they're so big, and there's something about this that I really enjoy having a smaller bottle of this one. So I'm probably getting a smaller 35 ml bottle of the newest one, because it's fantastic. And you will be able to find my review of this Absolute version at the end of this video. So next one is the fragrance that is, it was kind of polarizing, because this is the fragrance that bears the name of one of the bestsellers of the brand, Obsession. But this is not an obsession, this is the secret obsession by Klein, and this is a gem of a fragrance. It is still on the market, you can still find it, and I have found a couple of discounts in the US that they sell it for such a cheap price. And this is such a beautiful fragrance. It has nutmeg, it has some rose, tuberose, jasmine, orchid, so there's the white flower heart, and then we have this very warm heart, which is sandalwood, amber, vanilla, cashmere wood, cedar, wormwood, and orris. So again, a part of the nutmeg, we don't have spices here, and the nutmeg, well, you can actually feel it, not just in the beginning of the fragrance, but like throughout all the fragrance, which is good. I actually love all nutmeg, and I enjoy nutmeg as a spice in my food, but this one is flowery, beautiful, warm blanket. It's just such a beautiful fragrance, and I do think it's such an underrated fragrance. I mean, so many people, oh, it's good, so many people compare it to the original Obsession, which in my opinion is a mistake. You cannot compare the original Obsession to this one, because they're two different fragrances. And this one is more modern, this one is more like dynamic fragrance, as opposed to Obsession. I'm not a big fan of Obsession, I have to tell you. For me, it's very, very retro fragrance, but this one, it's a modern, warm, a bit spicy. It's like your cozy cashmere sweater, or I don't know, a coat. So this one is good. This one is very, very good. And again, it's not overly spicy, because I do know that not many people love spices. Spices can be quite tricky to wear, because if it's overly spicy, you can actually start coughing even, you know, because it gets in your mouth, it gets in your nose, and but a lot of spices is never good, in my opinion. So the next fragrance is the fragrance by Michael Kors, and I don't really talk about Michael Kors a lot. Well, I don't have a lot of fragrances by Michael Kors. I do have two fragrances by Michael Kors, but they are fantastic. They are very, very nice. And I have this fragrance that is called this is Shimmer, Mystique Shimmer. I was not sure about which shimmer that is, because they have a lot of shimmers. There's this darker bottle as well, but this one is a Mystique Shimmer, and the bottle is beautiful. It's fantastic. It's such a nice fragrance. And so it has black pepper, it has saffron, woody notes, amber, musk, and bergamot. So this is a bit more spicy. And actually, this fragrance, some people compare it to Marc Jacobs Decadence, which I do have. I have Marc Jacobs Decadence. I deliberately did not insert this fragrance in this video, because Marc Jacobs Decadence is quite difficult to get hold of now. So I really wanted to give you options of the fragrances that you can find on the market, and that you don't overpay, because Decadence, last time I checked, it was like the price was exorbitant. Anyway, this one is a sweet fragrance. It's a spicy and a sweet fragrance. And this is there's also a saffron. Mind you, I love saffron in the food. I mean, saffron risotto is something just so good. But anyway, saffron in fragrances is a bit different, I think, for me, because it can be disturbing, because it's a bit salty. It's a bit earthy, in my opinion, for how I perceive it. But in this fragrance, maybe it's because there's this kind of warmness of black pepper and floral notes, and the amber, you can actually feel so good, the amber, the warmness of the amber here. And also this kind of earthy note of the saffron. But this is such a beautifully blended fragrance. It is never too much. I mean, there's the saffron, but it's never too much saffron in here. It's a black pepper, but it's not too much black pepper, so it's very well balanced. And it is warm, but it's also sweet, and it has a little bit of zestiness in the beginning, especially. So this one is very nice, and please do not underestimate the fragrances by Michael Kors, because in my opinion they are fine. They are more than fine. They are beautiful fragrances. So next one, it is a limited edition, but you can still find this fragrance. And just as in Givenchy, I much prefer smaller bottles of this one, because you can just easily open this one and spray, as opposed to the bigger bottles of Paco Rabanne. And this is the Paco Rabanne Lady Million, and this is Prive. So you have to spray it like that, and it's uncomfortable. But if you just take the lid off and you spray it, it's much more it's much better. Anyway, so we have this very fruity but warm fragrance. So what do we have here? We have woody notes right in the beginning. We have woody notes, we have orange blossom, so we have white flowers, and then we have raspberry and some vanilla, and also heliotrope, cacao, honey, and patchouli. So this is a beautiful warm fragrance, and it is sweet. It is, in my opinion, this is a excellent clubbing fragrance for winter. If you go to clubs, or not even clubs, if you go with your girlfriends to the bar, and it's cold outside, and you want some warm fragrance and sultry fragrance, and this is for you. It doesn't mean that you cannot wear it in summer, but mind you, there's honey, there's patchouli, there's cacao, so there's a big dose of warmness in this fragrance, and this is not necessarily the thing that you want in summer, but in winter this is such a beautiful fragrance. And again, it is girly, it is playful, girly, but it has this kind of nice and warm depth to it. So this is a beautiful fragrance. So this is Lady Million Prive by Paco Rabanne, and I do think that it's one of these underestimated flankers of this Lady Million fragrances. So the next one, it can be tricky for some people, because this is a classic one, and this is a fragrance that I myself had a little bit of a difficulty wearing, because there's a note that I do not love, and we're not talking about rose, we're talking about mimosa. And mimosa for me is very dusty, and mind you, this is the fragrance that is quite an oldie, so it's an older version. It's not as fresh as the versions that they have now. So this is Poeme, and this is by Lancome, and it has mimosa. And oh my gosh, mimosa is never a good thing for me, especially if you know Guerlain fragrance that is called Champs-Élysées. It has mimosa, and I love Guerlain. This is one of my favorite brands overall, for makeup, for cosmetics, and for fragrances. But for the life of me, I would never be able to wear Champs-Élysées, because it has such an overpowering dose of mimosa. So here, this is a brilliant fragrance. I actually never overspray this fragrance, because it can be quite difficult to wear for me. But it is never retro for me. It's I mean, ironically, Calvin Klein Obsession is more retro than this one for me. Not the secret obsession that I just showed you, but the classic obsession. So we have such a beautiful, such a long list of fragrance notes here. We have narcissus, datura, peach, plum, mandarin orange, blackcurrant. I'm not reading all of them. Green notes, bergamot, mimosa, vanilla, tuberose, ylang ylang, orange blossom, jasmine, freesia, leather, rose, vanilla, tonka bean, musk, cedar, orange blossom, and amber. And it's not all of them. This one, it has a big yellow bouquet of flowers, and yellow flowers for me, it has always been a challenge. It has always been a challenge, and it will always be a challenge, because mimosa is a part of yellow flowers, and such a huge part of yellow flowers. And when I feel mimosa, in my opinion, it almost feels like we have a big sack of flour, and someone hits me with the flour, with this big sack of like 50 kilos of flour on my head, and I'm confused, and all I can feel is this flour in my nostrils and this kind of dusty feeling, like a dusty feeling. This is how I perceive mimosa. So mimosa, I can feel it here. And again, if I make 2-3 spritz, it's amazing, it's fantastic, it's very flowery, it's very womanly, it's very, very classy fragrance. This is one of the rare fragrances that I do not tend to overspray, because I know that sorry, the moment I will overspray, I will not be able to be around myself, which is impossible, so I will have to go and take a shower. So a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Mind you, do not buy it without prior testing, because depending on what version you will get, the older ones like this one are, there's a lot of flowers, and not many people love so many flowers in one fragrance. But otherwise, this is such a warm, flowery, this is flowery fragrance, but yet it is warm and kind of deep, and it's sweet, but we have this sweetness, kind of almost natural sweetness. We don't feel sugary sweetness, it's just the sweetness of the flowers, sweetness of the tonka beans, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful jam. And for some time, I remember it was out of stock in all internet shops of Lancome all around the globe, but then it came back. So I don't know what was happening. Maybe they were reformulating this fragrance, I have no idea. Anyway, this one is a gem as well, and do you remember this one? This one is Estee Lauder, and this is Sensuous, and I actually had two of these fragrances. I got myself this kind of travel package in the airport, where they had two same size fragrances, 30 ml fragrances. And this one is again white flowers, so we have lily, jasmine and magnolia. We have woody notes, amber, ylang ylang, sandalwood, honey, pepper and mandarin orange on the at the end. So this one is white flowery yet sweet and deep, beautiful fragrance. I love this one. And for some time, when I was well, I have got this fragrance quite a long time ago, so sometime I was just not wearing it that much, because for me it was kind of overpowering with this very strong white flower plus the spiciness, plus this honey, and plus this woodiness. It was kind of too much for me. But now, oh my gosh, I love this fragrance. It's such a beautiful fragrance. Maybe I needed some time, not for this fragrance to stay and to develop itself, but for me to grow up, because I now appreciate it much more than I had done in the past. So anyway, such a nice fragrance. You can smell the white flowers, you can actually smell lily, but it's not a lily that is gonna give you a headache. It's kind of an easy to wear lily, and have the spiciness and amberness. So this is a warm fragrance with a touch of white flowers, which in my opinion is fantastic. If you love white flowers, you should definitely check on this fragrance, because it is very good, and it is still on the market, so it's very, very, very nice. And I do think that's a kind of underestimated fragrance from Estee Lauder. So we are getting to the end, to the bottom of the list. So we have a beautiful fragrance from Guerlain. I couldn't not show you this fragrance. This is Samsara, and mind you, this is Eau de Toilette, and mind you, this is an older version, so it's an older packaging, which in all honesty, I do prefer older packaging. I do not like when fragrances are in the same package. I mean, if there's the brand that has launched these fragrances, and the fragrances are in the same packaging, I'm fine with that. But just because I know that Guerlain had fragrances in different packages for years, and now what they sell us is a standardized package. I don't like it. I loved when they had the variety of packaging. So I'm terribly off topic. I'm sorry. Anyway, this one is also, for some people, can be kind of fragrance that is retro or âgé, not in my opinion. So it has ylang-ylang, peach, bergamot, green notes, and lemon. And now you can ask me, where is the warmness? And the warmness comes with orris, iris, narcissus, tonka bean, amber, sandalwood, and also musk, and we have also vanilla. But it's not all the notes. We also have some white flowers. For some reason, this fragrance, and there's no note like that, not in Fragrantica, not on the official website, I can feel cherry. I can feel this smoked cherry in this fragrance. I don't know what is it, I don't know, but I have always felt cherry. It's not just now that I feel cherry, but always. I feel cherry on this fragrance, on top of this fragrance. So this is a very warm, a little bit smoky. I don't know where the smokiness comes from, but I feel, but not bad smoky, not smoky that you feel like you have been sitting and you smell like you have been sitting next to the burning logs, and now you smell like, you know, the burning wood. Not like that, but this kind of perfumed smoky. And so this one is such a gem of fragrance, and it is very flowery, it is very flowery, and it is very warm. And now again, this cherry, I don't know where this cherry comes from, I have no idea, but this is such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. You have to be careful with this one, because I know that this fragrance, Eau de Toilette, is quite different from Eau de Parfum. So if you want to try this fragrance, you should try both versions and then decide which one you like more. I myself like Eau de Toilette much more than Eau de Parfum version. So beautiful, and it also lasts. And after this initial blast of flowers and initial blast of fruits, you know, it fades. It inevitably will fade. I can feel just warmness and this cherry. I don't know where the cherry comes from, I have no idea, but I do feel the cherry here. And I'm gonna finish my list with this fragrance, which is basically, it's you know, it's not a fragrance, it's a fragrance oil. This is from Malin and Goetz, and this is dark rum. And gosh, I love this fragrance. It has the notes that I do not typically like in the fragrance. It has leather, it has rum, it has amber, milk, patchouli, and bergamot. And so this is this is a very, very warm fragrance. It has leather, and you can feel the leather, you can feel the boozy leather here in this fragrance. But oh my gosh, maybe it is because of the my own skin chemistry, but when I put this fragrance on me, it works like a catnip for a cat. For me, I just keep smelling my skin. It is something in this fragrance that it just attracts me. I don't like this fragrance to say that, oh my gosh, I want to smell like that all the time, all the way, for all my life. No, in fact, sometimes this fragrance irritates me, but the majority of times when this fragrance is on me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And the booziness, you can feel it, and the leather, you can feel it, and you can feel some of this deepness. I don't particularly feel I don't particularly smell milk here, but I can smell this ambery depth and this kind of of patchouli, but this kind of dry aromatic patchouli. So this is this something, I don't know what they put in this fragrance, but it literally, it blows my mind. And if I'm not touching this fragrance, if I'm not applying this fragrance, I don't think of this fragrance at all, never. But when I apply this fragrance, it's just this, the one thing that I can think of for the whole day. I think of this fragrance the whole day. So there's something magical to this fragrance. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Anyway, these are my fragrances that are affordable, easy to find, and very warm without being extra over spicy or boozy. In fact, there's just the only fragrance that has booziness is this one, that is actually an oil. I really hope that you like the selection I've made for you. And please let me know if you like these fragrances, if you know these fragrances, do you use them? And I wish you a beautiful day. I wish you a beautiful Sunday, and I will see you next time on Wednesday. And I will be talking to you about Barenia, which is like Hermes Barenia fragrance that is quite polarizing. I wish you a beautiful day. Bye.